What's up? Welcome to week two, episode two of Sunday School. And today I want to delve into the essence of spirituality. And I want to talk about this because I feel like a lot of people have a misconception about what being on the spiritual path is, or when someone says that they're a spiritual person, what that means. Um, a lot of people still get that mixed up with religion. So when they hear someone say, "Oh, I'm a spiritual person," or "I'm embracing my spiritual nature, I'm going on the spiritual path, I'm into spirituality," they think that this person may become like a monk or for the individual themselves, you may think you have to start dressing differently, listening to different type of music, like you can't enjoy the things you used to enjoy. You gotta stop drinking, you gotta stop smoking, um all just different types of things. You gotta stop using profanity, and I specifically say using profanity instead of curse words because that's what we grew up on. Oh, you cussing, they using curse words. But profanity is not the same as curse words, okay? Profanity are just words like we use any other day, okay? I am a proud profaner. And if that ain't a word, I just made it a word today, okay? So curse words are things, literally what it says, things that curse you. So curse words is really like can't, don't, impossible, never, broke, poor, impoverish, sick, ill, stuff like that. Those are curse words because when you use those words, you're literally spell casting over yourself that you can't do something or something is impossible. You'll never be able to do that, which is not true. So the difference between saying shit and saying I'm sick, one is profanity and one is cursing yourself. Okay, so let me just clear that up. So, anyway, when you get onto the spiritual path, you don't have to give up the things you love if it's like a true, heartfelt, um, you know, a true, heartfelt thing that you love. You love hip hop, you love listening to trap music. You don't have to get it up if you don't want to. Now, if you feel like you get along your path that you naturally and genuinely feel like you no longer enjoy that type of music and you're ready for something else, cool. That's fine. But don't do it in a sense because you feel like it's wrong to listen to that type of music, or you can't wear dresses above the knees anymore because that's showing too much skin. You can still do you. You just have to start learning how to check your own heart, your own intentions to make sure that it's something you really want to do or not do. So, with that being said, when you get into the spiritual path, it really just means becoming aware that you are the God or goddess of your reality. And I know that that's very triggering to a lot of people, which is still very odd to me because we don't have a problem calling ourselves anything else. Hey, what's up, ho? That's my nigga, this, that, the third. Hey, bitch. All that we'll accept wholeheartedly. But somebody comes up to you and tell you that you're the god of your reality or that you're a goddess, and you look at them like they're crazy. Which on one end I understand, because when you hear that term or you call yourself that or someone else, you typically think like the god of everything. You think like, oh, I'm not God or I'm not a goddess because I'm not in control of everything and everyone. But that's not really what it means. It's that you are just aware that you're the creator of your life. You get to choose. And as a god or a goddess, you get to choose if you want to live the most broke down, beat up, struggling life or the most luxurious, amazing, miraculous life. You get to choose that because you're the only one thinking your own thoughts. You're the only one feeling your own feelings. You're the only one using your imagination. You're the only one responsible for your behaviors. And you're the only one taking the actions that you take. So when you go into this conscious path of being a spiritual person or embracing your divine nature, there's nobody to blame after that. There's nobody to blame for nothing. It's all on you. So you now have to learn how to take accountability for your life. And that's still like a basic level, kind of. It's like the overall um, understanding of what being on a spiritual path is, but it can't go much deeper. It goes much deeper. Like the more you really tap into who you really are, and you know that it's beyond just being a human, it's beyond this physical body, flesh, which is also just energy. You can start doing other things. You start, your intuition develops more, um, telepathy, speaking to people with, and these are things that we really already have and we already use, but we use it unconsciously. Once you become aware that this is all the things you use to create, you start to use it more consciously and you start to be able to tap into different realms. Astral traveling, people do a lot of that, which is being able to leave your body, so to speak. Like you can travel outside yourself. And I know that to be true because I've had those experiences. I've never intentionally done it because it's something I don't necessarily care to do, but I have experienced it and it has taken some time getting used to because at first it used to, vary out of the norm and felt very scary at first. But once I learned what was really going on and how to control it when it does happen, it's not so scary anymore. So for me, it just happens spontaneously. But because I'm more of an open vessel now and embracing that side of me, I'm not surprised that it happens. So a lot of things you don't have to do just because you feel like, oh, I'm spiritual, so I have to learn how to astral travel and remote viewing. That's something else you can do, which is basically seeing someone or something else in another location. So, like, if I'm sitting here and I get a vision or a glimpse of a friend or a family member doing something somewhere or a stranger, that's what remote viewing is when you can see someone or something in a location where you physically are not. Don't know if I ever really experienced that one. I feel like I had, but more so with straight. Well, no, I think I've experienced it with people I know too. But so all of that, you start to lucid dream more, which is becoming aware in your dream that you're dreaming. So life really begins to open up more for you because you're more open and seeing that there's a lot more going on than just the physical, logical, mundane, day to day life. So I do also want to mention that I know in hearing this, people may feel like it's still hard to accept the concept that you're the creator of your life and that your life experiences are built around you because you may be like, oh, well, I was born into this or I was raised up into this. This isn't something that I chose. But yes and no, because another way a lot of things work is when we get into DNA isn't just about your physical looks. Like you don't just inherit your gray eyes from your grandfather or your complexion from your mother and father or their nose. It's DNA is information. So whatever beliefs and traumas, experiences that they had that's stored in their DNA when you're conceived, it goes right into your DNA too. So you have the DNA of your mother and your father, and of course, their family. And then you also have in your DNA whatever information you received from any past lives that you had. So you just like this big ball of mixed information. So when you're born and you have certain experiences and you're like, I didn't choose this, I didn't, it was kind of chosen for you based off of the DNA and information passed down to you. But again, once you open up to your spiritual nature, once you accept that you're the god or the goddess of your reality, you realize I now have the option to choose. This may be what I've grown up to, what I've been taught, what I've experienced. But now that I am aware that I am a creator, I get to change this. Because we're usually just living out other people's limitations. Okay? So if you have been growing up saying, oh, eating too many cookies make you fat. Okay. And you're like, oh, now if I eat too many cookies, I'm going to get fat. And that's probably been your experience. But once you become a conscious creator or aware that you are a creator, because you're doing it all the time anyway, it's just either you're on the conscious side of it or the unconscious side of it. So once you become conscious of it, you can then say, I don't want to accept it no more. I can now eat cookies and not gain weight. And I know a lot of people may feel like you can't just change that. But guess what? You can't just change that, okay? Because you want to choose to keep accepting a reality that you don't like, that you're suffering in. But you can't tell somebody else, you can't change that. No, you can't change that. You don't want to change that. You don't want to accept that because you still want to have something or someone else to blame outside of yourself instead of realizing how powerful you are. And nobody cannot tell me different because I'm already experiencing it in my own life. I already know. Okay? So it's easier when you see someone who feel like they do come from a great family, they come from money, and it's like, but what about the people who don't? What about the people who literally come from straight the gutter busted neighborhoods or family and really come out and make something of themselves? They too could have chose to say, hey, this is just what life is. It's just what it is. Take it or leave it. And many do, but many don't. And knowing that you are God or goddess also doesn't mean that you have to now be this perfect being. You have to say all the right things and do all the right things all the time. You can never make mistakes. That's not what that means either. Because again, we have a lot of things to work through, and as we're working through those things, our old selves are still showing up. So you don't have to be this perfect being because we're growing, we're evolving, we're releasing old habits, old beliefs, we're shape shifting. So it's not about being perfect. And one thing I did enjoy, I just recently got finished watching the Wu-Tang series, and I really loved how they had knowledge of self, but they also always referenced each other as a God. They would always go to each other and say, Peace, God, or Hey, God, in the midst of their conversations. And I love that because it was like a subconscious recollection to keep in their brain of who they really are and who they really felt they are, whether they was doing something right or wrong. You still couldn't tell them they wasn't a God, because at the end of the day, like I said, even if you do something wrong, you still know, well, I'm the God of my reality. I chose this. I chose to do that. I chose to engage in that. So whatever the outcome is, that's on me. That's on me. I can't blame nobody else. I partake. I have the power to say what I do, what I don't do, what I say, what I don't say, what I think, what I don't think, good, bad, or ugly. And I now know that I have the responsibility and the accountability to know no matter which end of the stick I fall on, I'm the one that chose it. And one more thing, I do want to go back to the DNA thing. Um, so when I said about your family's, DNA being passed down through you and you bringing over information from possibly a past life, if you, let's just say, any family, probably really any parent, we all basically been brought up under the same things. Life is just this logical, practical experience, right? But just say something within you just always felt like life is magical. Life is meant to be fun. Like, it's not supposed to be this hard. It's not supposed to be a struggle. Like, things supposed to be easy. Like, this is like a playground to me. We supposed to be having some fun. So that's probably something that you learned in your past life before you reincarnated into this life. Then you had the information from your parents that basically taught you life is practical, it's logical, it's straight and narrow. You live, you work, do a little bit in between, then you die. But you just always had that innocence. So that's where the battle comes in. That's when it becomes an internal battle, because now you have to decide, do I continue to listen to and believe what I was taught and raised on? Or do I listen to myself and what I'm really feeling in my soul and follow that? That's why I made the post the other day. Choose ye this day which God you will serve. Are you going to serve your soul and what you truly feel and believe? Or are you going to continue to serve outdated beliefs and systems and practices that you clearly see are not working for you and making your life harder than it needs to be? So that's your spiritual nugget for today. And I will see y'all next week on episode 3.